Welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. Right where we left off, I'm going to tackle this moderately difficult one. It's a level 5. It says I get these Z's and S's. Let's see. We get that. I can put a bunch of orders in here. Each region contains one, and they have to be those shapes. This one comes to here. It can't go farther. It comes up here. That shape, this could go to here, or it could go here and take that, which it's not allowed to do. So that is what we get. Now we've got this here that could take that one or that one. Well, if it just took this one, it wouldn't have the symbol in it. Therefore, it's one of these. Now this one comes out. Give it a different color, please. Come on. I'll go with the light orange. That has to come up here, and that one is blocked off. That could go up to there, or that one. If this one took that, it would immediately go that way, and this would be cut off. So this is taking that and going up. Now I know that this one is not taking that. This must be different. So that is what we get here. And this one, that's complete. This one, this one could take either of these. Okay. That one takes that. Over here there is this. And it has to do that. Waiting for the next section where it combines these roses, the rose windows, with the Delta Geminis. Gemini Delta. I'm sure it'll get to it eventually if it's not the next section. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, if this one were to take that, this would come out here and take that and leave this isolated. Therefore, that is what we get. Now this has to do that. This. Okay, I can't have something come that far and then take something that shape isn't available. So, and I can't cut that one off. So this one has to take that one. Which means that is now that shape. This could be that one and that. Yeah, this has to do that, first off. It can't go that way. It could take that or that and that. If it were to do that, this would be trapping things in here. So it doesn't do that. Instead, it's just gonna do that, which means this one comes up here. It must bend, so it doesn't take that one. It could come down here and then take that one. Or it could just take that. This, if it goes to here, it does that. Or it does that. But either way, it leaves this isolated. So that's not what it does. It does that. That's wrong. This one is broken now. What if this one does this? There. Okay, now I can see this one doing that. This shape here has to take that and it finishes there. This one must do that. That has to go there. We get the little S there. This one has to be that shape. I know that this comes out. And this one has to do something. The only thing this one can do is take that. This one has to go around that. This one has to do that, and it's done. Okay. That one was relatively easy. Oh, what do we have here? Is that... Yes, that is a Delta Gemini. Okay. Different shapes where shapes are undefined and the same shapes. Now, if that's a single, this has to be 2. This cannot be single or 2, it's got to be 3. If it took this, this would need to be 3, which it obviously isn't. So there. Now, this has to be this shape, but it can't get into here. So it's gonna just be that, and then that finishes it. $15 of 21. There's one in the well. It's not as brightly lit. Okay, let's take this one. All regions must be these shapes. The box 8 and the domino. A delta and a Gemini. Okay, this delta means I have one of each at least here. If I were to put this box on this side, it would make an invalid region. Therefore, we've got that. Which means this is 2. I don't know where it goes yet. If this were the 8, then this would be 3, and it couldn't be 2. So there's 2 here, 2 again, 2 again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, again, more. Keep going. Okay. The only place I could put one of those is right here. And that would mean that this was alone. So that's not going to happen. We're just going to fill the whole thing in with dominoes. Ooh, we've got a cross and a domino. One side of this has to be a cross. Well, that has to go this way, because up here it would be blocked off. Now we're just going to do this again with filling in dominoes. That could be a cross there. In fact, it has to be, because this has to come out here, but this piece needs to be part of something. There. There's that. If I were to make a cross here, that one would be isolated, so we don't do that. There. That one isn't even available yet. Take this one. We have the little L and the 2x2. If this is a 2x2, then that is a 2x2, and this is a 2x2. And that is going to mean this is an L, and there is a single space that isn't filled in. So this is not the 2x2. That is a 2x2. Okay, I can see how that fills in. There. Another level 2. L's and S's. Gotta do... Nope, I don't have to do that. It might come out here. I know this one does that. We don't know. That... If this does that, this does that. And if this does that, this does that, and that would leave this isolated. So it doesn't do that, it does this. Now this must be the same shape again, but I don't know which way it goes. And this must be the same again. If this one came up here, this one would have to be laying down. And if this one went this way, this one would have to be laying down. So I know it takes those, I just don't know if it's that or that yet. This one comes out here. If this one were to be the S, it would be that way, and this would fill that in. And then or it is this way. And then this fills that in. This takes that. And this one does, yes, okay. This does that. That does that. This one comes to here. And this one does that, allowing that one to fill it. $19 of 21. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, we're gonna have another boost. 2s and 3s. Right, well this has to do that. Now, this has to be the L shape. This has to be the domino. This is an L. I don't know that it does that yet. It could go like that. Or that. That's an L. This is another domino, which at least one of them does not take this. And this is another L, that's a domino, and this is an L, which means it's got to do that. Domino. There. That is helpful, I guess. This shape has to come out. I'm not sure what else it does. If this did that, this would do that. This would have to do that, because if it did that, I'd have 3 in here. And that would cut this off. But if it does this, I've only got 1 there. Therefore, I think that does that. Now I have 6 shapes in here. Well, that one has to do that. But I don't know yet if it's a 2 or a 3. If it's a 3, it creates a 2 up here. Otherwise, I get a 2 here that might become a 3. So let's take that one. One of those 2 will take that. Or maybe neither of them will. They could both be dominoes. That would mean that domino, domino, or maybe not. Could do that. No, that's bad down here. Okay, this is where I want to look. Because this one, that one, has to take both that and that. Now this can take that, and it can't take that. So this one has to do that, which means I get that. Now this does go that way. This is there. This has to be 2 of those. And this is just that. Let's take the one in the well. Shape bank. Okay. This is going to be that. This shape is going to end here or here. Either way, it takes all of that. And this one I'm not sure which side it takes. Okay. If this were to come like that, then this would do that. This would do that if that did that. that would mean that this would have to be that shape, but there is no way for it to do that because it would hit that. And this one has to be that shape. Therefore, it goes this way. Now this has to be that shape. Yes, like this. And it's done. $21 of 33. Ooh, hi. Another 6 there. Oh, easy one here. Let's do these ones. I know that that's a single. So this has to be more than that, as must be that. But these can't be the same. And this actually needs to be the same shape as this, while being a different region. Now, the easiest way to do that is for this to come over here. If it just does that, now I can do one of these. No, that won't work. That. Yeah. This shape here must be the same as this shape here, which must be different than that, but the same this. So this can't take that. Because then if it took that, this could not exist. I think, if that were to do that, though, no, that can't be because this, well, what would it do? This one would come like that. No, because this would have to be the same as that, and there's no way I'm fitting all that into there. I think if that does that, now this can do that, and it is the same shape there and there. Whoop. And this one, we can just do that. Yeah, just fill that in with a single. Okay, that will do it for this one. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye.